schoolboy up to senior boxing. I won every single title of multiple Europeans and World and Youth Olympics, and I never knew about the Youth Olympics. And when I finally qualified and I won it, it sort of, I thought the Olympics was a year away to qualify for the 2020 games, which obviously now is 2021. And I thought I've given myself the right shot because I've literally won every competition that year. And I was #1 youth in the world. So I see all these other boys in the other countries getting onto the senior teams and pushing on for the qualifiers. And it was like with GB boxing, to sort of hold it off. And I knew in my head that by the times I would get let onto the team, then the qualifiers would be within a few weeks. So there wasn't really an opportunity to qualify, and I didn't fancy waiting another 5 or 6 years in amateur boxing, especially. It's amateur boxing now is like pros for 3 rounds and got to have 5 fights in whatever 7, 8 days, and now you're just getting really having a lot of pro fights before turning professional. And I just think it was the perfect time for me to turn pro, really, and sort of strike while the iron's hot. Why I won the Youth Olympics.
What's the transition like when you've been fighting the best in the world in your age category as an amateur, and then you turn pro, and at least in the early stages, you're fighting people that just come to survive or people that can't match up to you ability-wise?
I think it's more about learning the program. I think I've got a good coach in Dave Colwell and a good team behind me, and I think I probably learn more in the gym for the first year. Like I said, I've been pro a year now. I probably learned more in the gym and going away sparring than I actually probably did in fights. So it was only the media stuff and the build up to the fight. What was it getting used to? But as far as like the boxing's concerned, I think I learned more in the gym and sparring top quality fighters, and that's how I learned. Got the transition.
And the last one from me, just tell us a bit about some of the people we know that you've sparred and who you've maybe learned the most from.
I sparred Kid Galahad, Jordan Gill, Lee Wood, Tarka Khan out in America, and a few top world level fighters in America. One of them, a lot of Armenian world amateur champions who's turned pro over in Freddie Roach's gym. Like you said, you've got the head guards and you're getting in sparring. You don't know who's sparring. You could be sparring a world champion. You wouldn't know. Like I said, I've learned a lot, especially from sparring Jordan in the gym and seeing him in the gym every day. And I've learned a lot lately from Kid Galahad. I've had really good sparring with him, and I feel like they both brought me on that extra level.
Brilliant. Thanks, Hopey. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you very much.
How you doing? I just have one question. Your third fight and 2 or 3 fights now are going to be in very unique experiences. The first one, the last fight in Saudi Arabia. Now, this week is obviously a very unique experience. Talk about, fighting in these different kind of settings.
To me, I'm just there to fight, so I don't really take much by it, but it's good. It's good to be on, obviously, the big shows. Clearly, the team behind me has got a lot of pushing me to put me on these big shows. They must think something good of me, so I've just got to keep performing and keep doing a job in the ring. That's what I'm here to do, no matter what show I'm on. But like you say, I feel very privileged to box on these big shows, and that's why I've got to keep putting on the good performances. So I'll keep getting on these good shows.
Thank you.
Hey, Hopey, Jonathan Aguilar with Pro Boxing Fans. As the gentleman before just mentioned, fighting in Saudi Arabia on Joshua Ruiz undercard, and now you're going to the back garden of Matchroom. How much did you learn from that experience in general, just being on such a big platform?
A lot, like you say, from the amateur game, you never done much media stuff at all. So, like I say, my first fight and first press conference was a bit like, I didn't really know what to say. But I think I learned a lot. I've done hundreds of interviews in Saudi Arabia and all the media obligations. Just being sat there and watching the other big fighters, Joshua, Ruiz and whoever, do them interviews and the way they handle themselves, I think I picked up a lot. And obviously now I know for the future how to handle myself.
You've only had 2 professional fights so far. If anything, what have you learned in the short time you've been a professional?
I've learned a lot, but I think boxing's boxing. I think you'll have to see when the fights start stepping up and we start having more fights. I think that's when you'll see the best of me, really. I think at the minute, I said, you just keep seeing little improvements every fight, and then when we get let off the leash, as Dave says, when we let off the leash, that's when you see the best of me.
You've got Johnny Phillips on Friday night. Have you been able to see what he's about? What do you know so far about him?
I've heard a little bit about him, but to be honest, I don't take much to unboxing really. I don't really need to watch him to be able to beat somebody. I think you could watch someone 100 times. He could watch me 100 times. It's going to be a different story when we're getting there. I think whoever watches me anyway, you're not going to be able to just say that that's what it's going to be, because I can bring something new to the table every time I step in the ring. So that's how I'm just going to perform Saturday night.
And last one, obviously you saw your stablemate Jordan Gill beat Reece Bellotti on Saturday. So it's the chance for a bit of a Dave Colwell double header on Friday night.
Definitely, it's definitely going to be a double header. 2 good wins and 2 good performances. You'll see Jordan last week, and it's my time to shine this weekend.
Cheers, best of luck.
Hopey, just want to come back in with one, because responding to something you said. You talked about how you learned from the likes of Joshua and Ruiz and how they handled themselves outside the ring. Just tell us what impressed you the most, particularly about AJ and how he handles his media obligations and all that, because he has so much attention on him.
He's just so relaxed. I think that's the main thing. He don't let none of it get to him really. I think out there he had a lot of pressure on him in that fight. Nearly every question asked was about him losing his last fight, so he had to deal with that mentally to keep himself mentally, to not think about him losing before, to keep his mind on the job, on what he had to do. And like you say, he done a hell of a job when he did box, because he won the fight very easy. So
a good role model then.
He's definitely a good role model for boxing and for sport. Yeah.
Cheers.